Georgia's insurance commissioner says the liquidation of a politically connected insurance company could cost customers as much as $20 million, and many of those customers are government agencies.
We told you last night how the company flew top politicians on free trips to a private hunting preserve. Well, now the company lawyer gives his first interview blaming the problems on politics. Senior IT reporter Dale Russell is here now with more. Dale.
Amanda, it's a bitter battle between Insurance Commissioner John Oxendine and insurance company owner Clark Fain. The debate, who is to blame for the devastating losses from Fain's company. But both sides agree thousands have been hurt.
It's all right, just come ahead.
There you go. Meet the victims of the collapse of a politically connected insurance company in Georgia.
I couldn't stand the thought of him, of us not being able to keep him and do what we need to do.
A multi-million-dollar trail of devastation that has left people like Kenny Whitey and small business owners like John Halsey scrambling for ways to pay staggering medical bills. Can you survive this if it goes on?
No.
I mean, it could cause your company to go under. The company that collapsed, Southeastern U.S. Insurance, or SEUS, controlled by politically connected businessman Clark Fain. SEUS was a multi-million-dollar workers' comp insurance company out of Atlanta with a substantial client list of mostly government agencies across the state. You didn't pay for the plane fare.
No, I did not.
We told you during the past few years, Fain flew some of the state's top politicians and the governor on all-expense-paid hunting trips to his company's hunting preserve. We talked to you about these hunting trips.
I'm going up to the Department of Economic Development.
And along with legislators, Fain flew some county school administrators down to southwest Georgia for hunting trips.
All in favor?
Like Morgan County School Superintendent Stan DeJarnette, whose school system was covered by SEUS.
Do you think that it was a conflict that you went on a hunting trip with this company?
No, I don't.
DeJarnette says he paid and agreed upon $125 for his trip, even though SEUS told hunters the trip normally cost as much as $900, not counting the ride on Fain's private plane.
We were prepared to drive, and I think we hitched a ride because they were going at that time.
It did appear that he was living pretty high off the hog.
In 2009, Insurance Commissioner John Oxendine says he was convinced SEUS was insolvent and owner Clark Fain had too much money tied up in thousands of acres of farm and hunting land in his hometown. Oxendine got a court order to liquidate SEUS, then opened a criminal investigation, accusing Fain of what he calls Enron-style accounting.
The problem is when you're spending money that you don't have. And that's what Mr. Fain was doing. He was living the lifestyle, wining and dining the government officials with money that he didn't have.
Clark Fain and his attorneys have said very little about the allegations, but Fain's attorney for the first time sat down with us to discuss the matter. And the former state prosecutor says Clark Fain is the victim of politics. So it's fair to say this company was in trouble.
Yes.
George Shingler admits Fain's company, battered by the economy, was reeling in 2009. But he says the company had money on hand to pay claims for years, and Fain was trying to save the company by bringing in new investors or even selling it. Shingler says during negotiations with Commissioner Oxendine, the commissioner decided to liquidate the company.
We believe he was a crook, and we have opened a full criminal investigation of Mr. Fain and his associates.
Why is he taking this position?
It has to do more with John Oxendine's campaign for governor than it has to do with any wrongdoing by SEUS or Clark Fain.
You think this is politics?
Yes.
Because Oxendine is running for governor, Shingler believes Oxendine is trying to portray himself as the tough regulator and use Fain's company to attack political opponents who can be linked to Clark Fain. Wouldn't that be extremely calloused of someone to open up a criminal investigation solely for political reasons?
But it happens all the time. I'm not sure that it's anything new and unique with John Oxendine.
When told of the lawyer's remarks, Oxendine sent a response saying there's nothing political about doing what an insurance regulator is supposed to do, identify bad actors and get them out of the insurance business. When SEUS was declared insolvent, there was no longer workers' comp coverage for thousands of customers like Kenny Whitey. State law says when companies like SEUS are declared insolvent, the business or even the government agency that provided workers' comp for its employees is responsible for all outstanding medical bills.
And it could put nearly 70 employees, me, my family, my son, my daughter that works for me, my son-in-law, out of business.
John Halsey could lose a 90-year-old family plumbing business. So he walks the hallways of the Capitol hoping to find a political solution to his nightmare. A nightmare Pat Whiting knows all too well.
These are people's lives. It's ruined a lot of lives. Not just ours, but ruined a lot of lives. Should be ashamed.
Now, the Whiting family has been hit by the medical care of Kenny Whiting because his company that he worked for would go bankrupt if they had to pay all of his bills. So the family's turned to Medicare and Medicaid for short-term help. They're still looking for long-term care, though. Russ, Amanda?
We certainly wish them the best. Terrible situation.
It certainly is.
In the meantime, why does Commissioner Oxendine call this Enron-style accounting?
Yeah, he's been very aggressive with that. I mean, he came out and said they filed fraudulent records. Well, we actually talked to the actuary who went into the books and looked at Clark Fane's company and basically told us when they first saw the aggregate numbers, they thought everything was fine, but then they found out about some of these catastrophic claims. They went back in, pulled 10 cases out, and of the 10, 7 of them were way underreported in terms of the amount of money that that company needed. They realized then we're actually millions and millions of dollars of being where they should be.
All right, Dale, thank you.
Thanks.
Still ahead, another exclusive I-Team investigation that's coming up.